Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. So Joy Reid, an MSNBC analyst, race baiter, I guess you want to call her, staunch Democratic shield. I've seen her for a long time, for years, seen some of her interviews, the clips of her interviews, and she say a lot of stuff, and I've ignored it. It's just what you do when you see silly people say things. A lot of time you ignore it, but this little statement she said not too long ago kind of, rubbed me the wrong way. And hey, election season, we got a new potential Democratic nominee, which truth be told, she ain't officially is a Democratic choice to run for president, but say she got enough delegates to do so, so we'll just run with that. But anyway, Joy Reid got up on here and said something crazy about saying how we gonna look crazy. But let's go ahead and get into it. We ain't gonna linger on this too long. This is from MSN.com by way of Mediate, and it says MSNBC's Joy Reid warns black people they'll look real weird and crazy if they refuse to support Kamala Harris. Now let's see if she gives factual political reasoning and evidence why we would look silly for not voting for Kamala Harris. I'm sure she's going to say something, right? To where I'm going to be like, hey, because I told y'all before, I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris because I've seen, her track record, follow her track record for the last couple of years. But maybe Sister Joy Reid is going to say something that's going to cause me to say, man, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and, vote for this woman, right? So let's see what she says. It says MSNBC's Joy Reid warned black voters this week they will look real crazy and real weird if they decide to support anyone but Vice President Kamala Harris in November. Reid took to TikTok on issue to celebrate the stratospheric entrance of Harris into the presidential race following President Joe Biden stepping down from his re-election campaign. Stratospheric entrance. I wonder what that meant. Given just a stratospheric entrance of Vice President Kamala Harris into the presidential campaign, she has now secured enough delegates to become the nominee. You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color, but really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture, Reid said. What culture is she talking about? Is she talking about the Black American culture? Can't be, because Kamala Harris is not Black American. She listened to Tupac while she was in college, remember? So is she talking about the Eastern Indian culture? Well, I'm not part of that because I'm like, Black American, maybe a mix with a little of that, what she called the Native American Indian tribe, whatever, but that's very small, minute. That's not even an issue. Maybe she's talking about the Jamaican culture. Can't say that because I don't have any Jamaican in my family that I know of. So what culture is she talking about? I'm confused. Democratic culture? Well, I'm not part of that because like I said, I'm tired of Democrats making promises or they're going to let carrot in front of my Black American people and not doing anything. So I just want to know what culture she's talking. Maybe y'all can help me. Help me understand what the heck she's talking about. Black voters and people who claim to have a connection to that culture black voters and people who claim to have any connection to that culture will be lonely voting for someone over Harris, Reid continued. Is she talking about, like I say, white culture? Is that the culture she's talking about? I don't know nothing about white culture. All I know about is me, myself, and I. The hip hop culture? I don't know. The fake black culture? I don't know. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side. You're really going to look crazy being on that side, given the cultural phenomenon of Vice President Kamala Harris, she said. She's about to make history. She's about to become the first woman president. Harris has not yet been officially nominated by the Democratic Party, but as Reid noted, she's already secured the delegates needed to jump to the top of the ticket. Donald Trump has already secured his party's nomination, and Reid also wants voters to cold shoulder others running, which includes independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who they are strongly trying to keep off all the ballots in all states. I think here in Texas, they're trying to get him off of there because it said he didn't get enough signatures, or the signatures that he got wasn't valid. So, hey, it's crazy. Hell, I might just go to the polls and just write him in. You can do that. As well as Libertarian Chase Oliver and Green Party's Jill Stein. I think I asked a poll about if people wanted to see more of these candidates. Might start doing stories on them here soon. Reid then took a brief shot at Amber Rose, a biracial model who spoke and used to be married to Kanye. Was he married to Kanye West, or she just knocked him? He just knocked it down for a while. I don't know. A biracial model who spoke at the Republican National Convention last week. Reid said Rose looked crazy over there, but she like to use that word crazy, and the door should be shut behind her. Why is that, Jory? Why you want to be like that? It wasn't the first time Reid targeted Rose before covering her speech by saying she's not black. Okay. And accusing her of being used by Republicans to score cheap points with young voters. Rose snapped back at MSNBC, accusing her of using her platform to race bait. Hi at Joanne Reid. I never said that I wasn't black. I said I identified as biracial. I'm not going to invalid my white father to make you feel more comfortable. And see, that's the thing. That's that one drop rule that white folks created hundreds of years ago, saying that if you got like one drop of black blood in your body, you black, and it pretty much discredits you from getting anything. It's basically what they're trying to say, because back in the day, children, to get their inheritance, they got it from their mother's side, I believe. And if your mother was, I think you got it from, was it your mother or your father's side? Well, yeah, you got it from your mother. I know for a while you got it from your mother's side. But anyway, when, like say when these kids were born, with these slave masters, slave owners, like they're having these children, from, assaulting these slave women slaves, having these babies, it's like, they didn't want them kids to get anything from that's what it was, about a man, but then they changed it to the woman because of what these men were doing. But anyway, in the beginning, it was like, long story short, one drop rule. If you got any black in, you can't have anything. That was keep the slave kids that was being, born out of, out of assault, from getting any kind of inheritance from slave masters. Simple as that. That's what it was. Like I said, they went change rules and laws and all that kind of stuff just to keep slaves from getting. So that's where that one drop rule comes from, right? So that's something the white man created. Now it's something that we didn't, it wasn't benefiting us. So we kind of didn't want that to be a thing. But now Joy Reid using it to, to her benefit. That's why I hate when people do that. You know what I'm saying? If you're going, what they say, have that same energy all the way across the board. I mean, if the one drop rule doesn't work over here, then it shouldn't work over there. But if it works over here, then it needs to work all the way around. But she used it, like I said, to her benefit, to try to make a point and just make her look crazy. What did it say? During her speech, Rose pushed back against critics calling Trump racist. The truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time, I believe those lies she said. I don't know how racist or unracist Donald Trump is, but I have seen Joe Biden says a few racist things over his time and kick it with Strong Thurman back in the day. So, but anyway. It said a post, it said first appeared on Mediate. Okay, so amazing. So I'm looking at this and I don't see Joy Reid saying anything about politics. So let me bring up something about politics because we got time. This is from Newsweek.com. And it says, and this is published today, July 24th. Kamala Harris's record as a prosecutor comes under scrutiny. It said conservatives opposed to Kamala Harris are focusing on her role as a former prosecutor and California Attorney General, especially the case of a man on death row for murdering 4 people, and her stance on the marijuana. It said Harris denies any wrongdoing in the case of Kevin Cooper, but a black man convicted in California of murdering four white people in 1983 and sentenced to death. He has maintained his innocence, but lost at least a dozen appeals. He remains on death row in San Quentin State Prison. He said now Harris enters into the presidential race as a presumptive replacement for President Joe Biden. Pro-Trump commentators are highlighting her role in the Cooper case. So Trump supporter Jacob Faber wrote on X, formerly Twitter, on Monday that the Cooper case should dissuade people from voting for Harris. To all Kamala Harris supporters, just look up Kevin Cooper. Respond with what you please, but I bet you don't look it up first. Because if you do, it must affect your words of anger to people that think little of her, he wrote. Let's see. So they're talking about, I'm trying to scroll down, get to the gist of the case. Her office litigated aggressively against allowing that evidence to be considered in federal litigation to stay his execution date. The details are fuzzy, but I'm going to refresh my recollection and bring everyone the story, he wrote. He said the campaign to exonerate Cooper received a major boost with the lengthy investigation in the New York Times by journalist Nicholas Kristof in 2018. What did it say? It says story broken justice. Innocent man was framed by sheriff deputies and on death row in part because of dishonest cops, sensational media coverage, and flawed political leaders, including Democrats like Willie Brown. You remember, and Kamala Harris. Remember, Willie Brown was one man that she had an affair with back in the day. He was like 60 and she was like 29, 30, right? And how she got, boosted up in her career. It is what it is. State Attorney General before becoming a U.S. Senator who refused to allow newly available DNA testing for a black man convicted of hacking to death a beautiful white family and young neighbor, Kristof alleged. It says it was a failure at every level, and it should prompt reflection not just about one man on death row, but also about profound inequities in our entire system of justice. In 34 years at the New York Times, I've never come across a case in America as outrageous as Kevin Cooper's, he wrote. How come everybody say that? Let's see what I want to see. I'm going to scroll down. It say been in prison. Now, here's the issue. Devil's advocate for Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper was not a saint, according to this story. It says here, Cooper had been in prison in Chino, California in 1983 and was serving a sentence for burglary, but escaped 2 days before the murder took place. Now, if he wouldn't have tried to escape, we wouldn't be having this issue. But the thing is, one thing I try to say, and like sometimes we have to look, we have to choose our martyrs, right? I'm not saying here because I'm going to tell you like this. If this man was in jail for burglary, he escaped. Okay, they probably pissed off. Something happened. They caught him. Now they're going to make him pay. If you wasn't committing crimes in the first place, you wouldn't be in jail. Now you're going to put yourself in a situation that people can take advantage of you, do things to you, and get away with it because your history and your record precedes you. You see what I'm saying? Now, if it was just an innocent man, let's say like you go with George Floyd and Tamir Rice, okay? George Floyd or Trayvon Martin or whatever. Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice should be your martyrs. Not really George Floyd, because George Floyd was doing illegal activities at the time. It escalated to the point where it shouldn't have. I agree, but I'm also the person to say, don't give them a reason. Don't give them another reason. Let's say a legitimate, logical reason to do anything to you. Stay innocent, be innocent. If something happened, then you have a better chance at justice of people understanding your plight or your side of the story. So like I said, like what was the guy name? What was the guy that was in Texas? It was a guy back in the 80s in Texas. I think George Bush, 80s or 90s, late 80s, early 90s, I think. Governor George Bush wouldn't stay his execution, and he got executed, right? But I heard someone say that because supposedly he robbed a store, deleted some people, and what have you. And then he say he didn't do it. He got all these people trying to fight for him, saying, free this man because he didn't do it. But then somebody said something like, well, hey, he committed all these crimes, so I'm sure he's guilty of something. You know what I'm saying? So basically they saying he should be on death row anyway. Just like Tookie Williams, he say he didn't delete them people in that little convenience store, but they saying, hey, the man committed so many crimes and terrorized so many people, so he's guilty of something. So we're not, and that's how they're gonna think. That's how they're gonna think. So that's why I'm saying, don't give him a reason. Just stay out the criminal life, man. It's simple as that. So again, although he wasn't, like I say, he wasn't a saint, but yet, so which caused him to put himself in a situation where these people, probably violated his freedom because of his vendetta. Trying to pay back because, like I said, he escaped and they felt some type of way. So they're like, oh, we're gonna get you and we're gonna make you pay for it. It ain't right, but this is the world you live in. So you got to know how to play the rules in the world that you live in. Three members of one family, Doug and Peggy Ryan, and their 10-year-old daughter, Jessica, and an unrelated 11-year-old boy named Christopher Hughes, were deleted. They were stabbed 143 times with an ice pick, axe, and a knife. Dang! And the bodies were discovered by Hughes' father. Man, that had to be the worst thing. The Ryan's 8-year-old son, Joshua, was slashed across the throat but survived. Newsweek had asked Kevin Cooper's attorney for comment. And said on January 13, 2023, a special counsel appointed by California Governor Gavin Newsom strongly rejected Cooper's claims of innocence. So he probably said, hey, if everybody's, not allowing stuff to be, not allowing new cases or new trial or evidence to come in, there must be something to it. We've seen that many a times, and then once the evidence comes in, the person is being exonerated. The problem is prosecutors and judges don't want to mess up their record. They don't want to say that y'all messed up and y'all was biased in y'all's decision. So they rather just say, hey, leave him in jail. We're going to fight till the end and say we were not wrong. What it says, the evidence of Cooper's guilt is extensive and conclusive, it stated, but Christoph disagreed, quoting Thomas R. Parker, a 30-year law enforcement veteran who was deputy head of the FBI's office in Los Angeles, who said the evidence was planted, he was framed, the cops lied on the stand. So, Joe Reid, that's political. That's the reason why people have to look at the side eye and be like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can vote for a woman like that who, along with everybody else, wouldn't even hear this man's case. And you are a fake black woman. You couldn't even hear this man's case. But we know you're not going to do just anything specifically for black people. So, you already said that, so we should have known. And then other stories say Kamala Harris and marijuana convictions. Separately, the conservative news site Right Angle News accused Harris on X of jailing black men for marijuana while she was a prosecutor in California. The American people do not want a president who incarcerated black men on simple marijuana charges and gloated about smoking marijuana in her college days, it wrote. Hypocrite. Like other conservatives, Faber also rounded on Harris's alleged role in jailing people for marijuana offenses. Just like how she let people be sentenced to prison knowing full well that the marijuana tests were giving false positives, never disclosing that fact to defense attorneys. That's not the BLM supporter we have seen, he wrote. Like a little story I had back in the day when I was in my trek to get into nursing school. Like I said, I worked warehouse for most of my adult life. And so I was going to school. So I couldn't keep a full-time job for a long time, right? Because once the semester start, classes are different, clinicals, this and the third, different times. You gotta work around it. It's kind of hard for a warehouse job to work around your schedule. So I had to choose different jobs. So a lot of time I went to a temp service to try to get a job. So anyway, now I have never smoked, never done drugs. I've, drank alcohol before, may smoke cigars time to time, but never did anything illegal in my life, substance abuse wise. And I did a drug test for this company. Now it was weird. I think it was it like a swab, a nasal or a saliva swab. I can't recall, but it was something I never done before. And I was like, man, this is kind of weird. This is different than a P test because I'm good with P test, Focal test, whatever. Anyway, took this test and it came back positive for cocaine. I was pissed. Not scared, not sad, but was livid. I'm like, look at here. I'm going to need y'all to do another test. Urine test, hair follicle test, blood test, whatever you want. But this is not going to stand. And so they went back to another test and I was like, it was clear. Like, so I mean, it is what it is. So I can understand how some of these tests can create false positives because I was a victim of one. Well, almost a victim of one. You know, like I said, went back, they redid the test and everything was clear. So yeah, I mean, I believe that maybe there was some tests that show false positives. But anyway, those are two things, Joy Reid, that are political and are factual evidence as to why people should think twice about voting for Kamala Harris. Black colored folk, Black Americans, if you will, should think twice about voting for Kamala Harris because of her track record. What they say, your reputation precedes you. So which means that you need more people, Joy Reid. You need more people. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's dialogue. You know how we do around here. Hey, don't forget to support the channel. There's 4 ways you can support. That don't cost you anything, maybe 2 minutes out your day. Just like, share, comment, and subscribe. However you do it, man, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. But if you want to support monetarily, you can do super things, super chats, or go to the description box. There are links there you can click on. And you can support that way, like going to marlonmorale.com, where we got high quality, top grade products, perfumes, colognes, silks, beard products, the works. Go on marlonmorale.com and choose something for yourself, choose something for your significant other, family members, whatever you want to do, smell good, look good, feel good. That's what we're about. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.